Today on the table, we have a Smith & Wesson Model 36 flat latch. So actually what happened was, if you guys remember, a couple weeks ago I made a video about this one because this was the first flat latch that I bought, and I liked them so much that I actually was able to find a second one, as you can see here. And they are pretty rare to find because they made them before 1966. So they started making these Model 36s in 1950, or at least that's when they were introduced. And as you can see, they're a smaller frame and they're 5-shot here, and we'll do a safety check on both. So you can see this is the first one that I got almost a month ago. And you can see that here, it's not loaded. And then here's the second one. This is the second one right here, and it's also obviously Model 36, 5-shot. And here we can double check too. Here you can see in there that it says Model 36 right there on that one. And then here on this one as well. If you look there, right there, it says Model 36. So what happened is that when I initially bought this one, I didn't notice either when I purchased it or maybe in the mail it happened, but a piece of the latch actually got chipped off, which was kind of a bummer. But I found through a company called Numeric, and feel free to look them up online, or I can post the link if anybody wants it. They're a big gun parts website for like original OEM parts. And I was able to find an original OEM latch. Actually, you know what? I might have bought it off eBay. But there was an OEM latch that they had for sale. And I was able to replace the broken one with one that I found online. Well, when this one came up, you know, I basically paid about the same price for both of them now. But this one did not have a damaged latch. So this still has its original latch on it. Even though this is an original 1950s flat latch for one of these, it's just, you know, that wasn't the one that originally went with the gun, because the other one, like I said, had a little bit of a chip in it. But you can see here that it has its original double diamond grips, like I say, and it has, you know, which means this is the larger diamond in the middle to show that it is, you know, one of the older ones. They both have their pins because they are old. And now these 36s did not have recessed cylinders. You can see they're perfectly smooth. They just didn't make that on this model. But you can also see there the difference between the standard grips and the target grips. So this grip actually is a lot easier to hold on to because it's not rounded down like this one is. It has more of the target grip on it, whereas this one does not. And actually metal-wise too, if you look at it as well, you can see that it is just a little bit different in a frame. This one actually has a heavier butt for the metal on it as opposed to this one. So this is probably would have been a little bit easier to conceal because there's, you know, obviously less of a butt for the handle for it, and the grips are a lot smaller. So this one is actually pretty easy to hold on to, but it would be much easier to conceal like in a boot, or, you know, like maybe just on your side if you're like a detective or something. But they're both, you know, obviously very compact if that's the case. So what they did was, though, is in 1968, if you remember, they did delete these diamonds. So these obviously are before 1968, but they're also before 1966 because they have the flat latch, and that's when that came out. Now, the serial number on this one is 271,000, as you can see there. And the newer one, or the second one I got, this one is 399,000. So this one's actually just a little bit newer. I would probably put this, probably somewhere in the mid-60s, whereas this one was, I think, like 1959, 1960, and this one would probably be somewhere like 1963, 1964. I'd have to double check with my book, or at least give Smith a call to get the exact model year on these, but obviously they are, you know, 60 years old, almost 70 years old at that point. And if we remember too, you know, as a collector, we always like to try to get the pin barrels on these. They limited the pin barrels in 1982, because remember, they still make these. So they actually still make these Model 36s. So you can buy a brand new one. When I was at Cabela's, when I bought that Glock, I got that Glock from Cabela's, and they actually had a Model 36, a brand new model. So exactly like this, but, you know, didn't have a pin barrel, different grips, did not have a flat latch. But it's still 5-shot, nice blue color. You know, it was nice, and it would be kind of fun maybe to buy a modern one just to compare it to these more older ones, just to get an idea of what the difference is or the changes besides the pins, and maybe just the detail of how dark the blue is. And you can see here that, you know, on both of these, the blue is pretty dark, as you can see there. But I just want another one. I mean, it was a good deal. It had the different style grips on it, and it was a flat latch, and I just had to have it, so I grabbed it. But if you have one, I don't know if you saw the first video. If you're new to watching this video, let me know if you do have a flat latch, or if you were like a detective, some type of in the police force or something like that, where you may have carried this as a primary or backup. I would like to know that. That'd be pretty cool to hear those stories. So please throw that in the comments, and thanks for watching.